Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude Podcast. Sweet. We got to get exciting, baby. We got to use tonality in our voice to get you guys excited because we have a really good show today. As a matter of fact, what we're going to be talking about today is a very popular topic of conversation amongst the real estate industry, and the real estate industry is changing. We are seeing an individual agent approach to a more of a team approach, and I wanted to bring on a gentleman that I've known for maybe about 2 years, give or take. And this gentleman is an agent out of Sacramento with Home Smart Realty currently, and he now is only 15 months. He's grown up to a team of 14 or 15 agents. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, good friend of mine, Suneet Agarwal. Did I say your name right?
Cuevas, yes, you did, brother. Hey, thank you for having me on the show, man. You know I'm a big fan. I've listened to almost every episode. You have great content, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so, thanks.
That's what I'm talking about, dog. All right, well, Suneet, let's get into it, and let's go right through. First, pronounce your name again. Tell everyone where you're at. Let's do a little intro.
Suneet Agarwal in beautiful, not as beautiful as San Diego, Sacramento, California. I've been an agent for about 4.5 years. Have lots of different business experiences prior to that, and Club Wealth coach, lab coat agent, moderator. I got a wife and a daughter, 18-month-old daughter, a bunch of dogs, live on a farm, and
so you're
sell
in the
a couple
know.
houses.
Since Suneet is in the know, he's a coach, he's a contributor to Lab Coat Agents. If you're not a part of Lab Coat Agents, join it. It's the largest Facebook group in the planet right now on Facebook, and you'll get a lot of really good content out of there if you just stay in the know what's going on. So, Suneet, you just said something very interesting. We're talking about, you've been in the business for 4.5 years. I've been in this business for freaking 15 years. I'm a dinosaur compared to you in terms of business experience, but you have a team of 15 agents. I don't. So that's what I want to get into on the story is how you accomplished it, because I first met you at a Club Wealth event in November, I'd like to say. And at that event, I remember, I don't think you had your team started yet. Or if you did, you were just getting off the ground. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I had like 2 agents.
I want to take our listeners through this journey because, a lot of times people will be like, let's first address the elephant in the room. Do you need to be in business for 10 years before you can grow a team?
I mean, I definitely don't think so, right? I mean, there's lots of other examples of great agents that are, part of Club Wealth and Lab Coat that have been agents for only a number of years and have huge teams and are experiencing great success, right?
So what do you think? If an agent is out there listening to this podcast right now, what do you think is the key, the first thing that you need to do when forming a team? And then we're going to get through lead generation and all that stuff afterwards. But if you're thinking about growing a team, what's the most important concept?
Hustle and leadership, right? There's lots of these sales industries, and it's car sales, mortgage, real estate. Oh, I can sell 50 houses a year. I should be in management. I should be this. I am now a leader. Are you really, dude? Like, have you read a book? Like, for me, I've owned other businesses. I've ran other businesses. I went to school for management. So it's a progression, right? Like you said, you've been in real estate 15 years. I've been running companies for 15 years.
Very cool. Listen, folks, he's talking about running a team is no different than running a business. Okay, and far too often, do you agree with this, Suneet? In our industry, we have a lot of salespeople running around with their heads cut off, and a lot of them aren't playing the long game. Let's be honest. They're jumping from transaction to transaction on a monthly basis, and then they bitch and moan about, oh my God, the peaks and valleys in this business are so excruciating. But the truth is that you have to approach this business as a business. So that's a very good, very, very, very good tip. If you have to bring that business mindset, and I imagine that your past experiences has helped you bring that
I would
to real
say
estate.
so, dude. I mean, my first management gig in a mortgage company, a boiler room type place, I was an asshole, Mike. Right?
Yeah.
And throughout the years, I've learned my management style. A lot of that is with self-development and reading voraciously every damn book on the planet about it.
So you had to learn, you're telling me. You actually read?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that the smartest people and the most successful people are also have one thing in common? They all read a lot and they
Yeah.
study other business models. You mentioned something else very important: leadership.
Yeah.
Now, how do you? I have a question for you. And when you view your team, are they do they work for you or do they work with you?
Absolutely with. Absolutely.
And what are you doing
Uh,
to empower them to understand that? Because this is a revolving door type business, especially on a team.
my retention is pretty good. I do, provide lots of resources that most teams would dream of, and I mean, as far as your question goes, I mean, you just have to empower people and like be supportive, right? You have to understand if some agent's having a hard time at home or with a spouse or with business, like don't just be a dick,
Yep.
right? Like you didn't make your 100 calls today, you're off the team. I mean, there's reasons, and we all get it. We've all dealt with stuff. So in my first life as a manager, I would lose my cool. People called me the Ari Golden of mortgage, right?
Sure.
Um, Now it's all Zen, baby, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have to empower these people and give them opportunities, like and training and support. I mean, there's so much more to it.
You hit it on the head, and that's actually the word I was thinking of: empowerment. And empowerment those around you. There was an article on Facebook, I think it was yesterday or something, or maybe it was LinkedIn, but it was really interesting. And it said, "Why do the top salespeople always stay within the same company, and they don't really move and jump around companies?" And the answer at the end of the article was just because a true leader knows how to empower their people to succeed in the workplace.
Absolutely.
And
And let's put a pause there. Regardless of split,
correct.
right?
Yes.
So
Split isn't everything. I mean, I'm, as you know now, I'm working in the San Diego market, so I'm doing a lot of work with a big block realty,
big up.
fastest growing real estate company in the country, 31 in the Inc. 500. And the question is why? Like, yes, they have a 100% model, right? But that's not why those agents are attracted to that company. I could tell you firsthand from seeing what's behind the scenes. It's culture, leadership, and that's it. Everything else that they're doing is just a cherry on top. But ultimately, what they do is they focus on empowering their agents through helping them with their own branding, really giving them the tools to succeed through empowerment and not so much like it's my way or the highway, which is traditionally what real estate brokerage used to be, right? You got to use my sign with my number so that my agents on floor get those calls. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the real estate days of the past. All right, so very, very good. Let's get on to
Dude,
step two.
one thing about my team and all this, like you're talking about signs. 95% of the team leaders, it's the Mike Cuevas team with a picture of Mike's mug on the sign and a picture, and it goes right to your cell phone. Dude, I don't want anyone to see me, right? Like I want to be the Wizard of Oz, bro. So I got Beth Sack Homes Group. Doesn't say Suneet Agarwal friggin' anywhere, goes to a call action number that doesn't broadcast, right? Like I want it to be harder to get a hold of me
That's
because
very
ultimately, when you're the Wizard of Oz and you get a viable product that some big company wants to buy, then you're only hurting yourself by calling it the Suneet Agarwal team and a picture of my face on the sign.
Did you
God,
guys
could
just
you
listen to
imagine?
the nugget that he just dropped? Suneet's playing the long game. He's looking at creating a saleable entity. And he knows that if he branded himself, that that would be an unsellable entity because that means he'd have to go with it down the road.
Yeah,
Right. And you see this from a lot of people who've built their personal brands. And if you go to if you go to a lot of these marketing conferences and you see like I think it was Seth Rogen I saw once, and he's just like, the one thing I would have done is not brand my name. I would have made it a company because I can't sell it now, right? He
yeah,
has to go
no,
with
dude,
it,
it's
and that's
legit.
that's super super important. Plus, it's non-ego driven, right? You're not like, hey, I'm Mike Cuevas. Everyone works for me. Everyone works for me, and a lot of times, I totally agree, and I see that, and I see it on a daily basis that the team leaders that are trying to build their own brand, not empowering their agents, never retain those very team members.
No, not the good ones at least. And like for me too, something else that's empowering is I don't really give a crap about where my name is on some list in Sacramento. So
Sure.
if an agent on my team does a deal, I don't need to be in the MLS. I don't need this or that. What am I going to do? Go to some friggin' awards banquet with a bunch of dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Like, let the agents have that power, dude. So if they leave, they can at least say, "Look, I've closed this many deals." Not, "Well, I've closed this many deals, but they went under my previous team leader's name." So just those little things I feel have helped me with retention and maybe individuality with the team still.
Yep. So let's get into, if you guys didn't get that, empowerment, culture, community. Um, I think those are the primary reasons people build a team because let's face it, this is not a easy business long term. It's stressful. It's more of a lifestyle. We have our ups and downs. We come up, we go down, and then you go down further. Then you finally get a $1 million listing. You go up, and then the next day you lose it and you go down. I mean that that's just it's a business of peaks and valleys, and that moral support is extremely important to keep that motivation. So we got culture, we got leadership, but ultimately too, and I want to get your opinion on this. Does your team rely on you for leads?
So I have been fortunate in my relationships through Club Wealth and Lab Coat Agents that I have a lot of resources that the average team doesn't have. So I have changed my model away from Facebook leads, away from pay-per-click leads, to 100%, 90% portal leads. So I've been fortunate to be able to do that. So these leads are as good as they friggin' come. Trying really hard not to cuss, Mike, for your
Go ahead.
listeners.
You could swear. It's a dude show.
These,
It's a real estate dude show, you know? This is real. This is raw, people. We're not practicing this. This is no script. We just get up here and start talking.
I think Hellickson would give me a talking to if I said that F word too many times
Oh
on your show.
man, yeah. I forgot about that one. But go ahead.
The so portal leads. I mean, you should be able to do 4 or 5 deals a month per agent with 30, 40 leads, right? Does it always happen? No, but hey, it's a work in progress. I gladly pay my agents a hell of a lot more for their own deals, and I give them all the tools for their own deals. Do many of them really rely on me for leads? Yes, because they're the best friggin' leads on the planet.
So let me explain what Porter Leads is to our audience. And folks, if you want, we did actually with your boy Brian Curtis, we had his show on last week.
I
And
just spoke to him, yeah.
and we went through the portal leads, and what portal leads folks are is like realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, people who are on a search site that are visiting that search site specifically to look for real estate information. And what we got at the end of that call too, was a really good episode, is that Brian basically said, look, I'd rather pay $25 for a portal lead than $2 for a Facebook lead because they're more
Absolutely.
accurate. And I think this is the truth that is coming out into the real estate marketplace as we gone into this Facebook craze in the last 12 months. You know, the business I always got from Facebook was created from good content. It was attracted, right? It wasn't like people don't go to Facebook to go look for a house for sale. They just happen to see one and they might be like, oh yeah, that looks cool. And they click. And is that a lead? You know, I don't know. You tell me, but
No, it's not, dude. It is not
yeah,
a lead. It's somebody clicking a friggin' link.
yep. And there,
Same with pay per click, dude. Like, talk about all the money I spent on both for years, and yeah.
so how many, and I agree with you. I think as a team leader, you know, besides culture and support, ultimately your team does look for some kind of assistance from you, right? And you're doing it in the form of portal leads. Now, can we get into like, you know, if I'm thinking about running a team, how much of the metrics have you got into? Like, do you have it down to a science where you know how many leads an agent gets till it turns into a closing? Or is it just, you know, are you still figuring that out right now?
Well, I mean, it's very like I have an agent on my team. Every 3 appointments she goes on, she writes a friggin' offer,
Yep.
right? And she only claims like 10, 12 leads a month because that's all she needs. I have other agents on my team that go on 30, 40 appointments and do 2 deals, right? So one for every 20. But you know that there's going to be a month where he does like 10, 12 deals because it's just building up and nurturing and following up. I have some agents who've gotten like 70 leads and they've done like two deals. So um, I don't think there's any like real metric. There's always a goal. Like I would love all my agents to do 2 deals a month, month after month after month. Here in California, that's money, bro. Right? Like
Yeah.
that's 30. That's 30 deals a month for a team of 15, not including my own. What's 30 times 12? 360 or something, right?
Yeah.
Or
There you
yeah,
go.
360. That's a
You
good fucking life right
you
there, dog.
you hit an important point. Some agents convert a lot and some don't. So we're talking about empowering your agents, and I'm sure you're doing this with your team. The ones who are not, those are the ones you're empowering to help get better at conversations, help get better at conversion, and giving that role, because you're exactly right. You could have the exact same lead sources go to two totally different people and have two totally different results. And ultimately, it comes as, can that person talk to people they've never met before? Is really what it is. Are you a conversationalist or are you a salesperson? And the
Yeah.
conversationalist who can ask the right questions, that can get the right answers, that can mimic it. Sam, as you know, is very great at this. Always has a better chance of setting those appointments than the one who just comes off and gets caught like a deer in headlights. Like the first time, it was like, remember your first lead you got? Like I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, like freaking out. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, there's a lead,
No.
there's a lead, and now I look back at it like, dude, you know what? All of these, at the end of the day, leads are people. They're breathing. They bleed red, just like you do. And it's no different than just literally having a conversation with your best friends. And the more
No.
natural I thought it became, the easier it was to convert. And that's what you see. Remember, in lab coats, for example, oh, the realtor.com leads suck. Oh, Zillow leads, they suck. The leads don't suck. People are inquiring them. You suck.
You
Right?
suck. Yes,
And
exactly.
but don't worry. You can get better. Right?
Yeah, so like we have a daily huddle every day. It's the Club Wealth thing. I do at least one role play meeting a month. Like 2 weeks ago, and this is a Brian Curtis idea, I took the whole team to a friggin' vacant listing, and I was the dickhead buyer and put them through it. Number one, it was way too much fun for me. But number two, I mean, that's real life training, bro,
Yeah.
right? Like so you got to do that. Like if you want to be on a team, oh, I got some pay per click leads, I got some Facebook leads. Oh, $2 a piece, yay! My agents are gonna call on them all day, and they're gonna do this, and I'm gonna get rich. Sorry, bro.
That's how it works.
It's not how it works,
Yeah.
right? And I am lucky and fortunate to be able to know people like Sam, to be a part of Club Well, to be a part of Lab Coats, where I have all these other people. Like I talk to Tristan Ahumada about this stuff all day, and he's a very successful team guy. Brian, all these people. So
So
very fortunate.
let's go through this, because you are a Club Wealth coach, and you mentioned the Daily Huddle, which I'm familiar with, but a lot of people on this listening to this are probably not. And this is extremely important because how do you create a virtual culture? Essentially, is what we're dealing with today, because agents today are not going into the freaking office. And if you get them in the office, great. But we all know, like, look at, you're in the bedroom right now. I'm in my fucking closet. We all work from home, right? For
I
for the
I go to
most
the
part.
office most, but I gotta head to the Bay Area after this. But I'm usually at the office. But yeah, a daily huddle. Number one, it's from a Tim Ferriss idea where you get all the management out of the way, if possible, in the morning in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Create that culture of what did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? Wins, losses, goals.
How long are these
Next,
calls? Daily.
30 minutes. I mean, 30 minutes, and it's usually like 32 minutes. Um, so we go through everybody, and with 15 people, that's 1 minute 30 seconds each. Go through questions on the escrows, and you hear me drop a motivational thing I picked up from some book for 5 minutes, right? Or
Yep.
some great podcast like the Real Estate Marketing Dude.
Yeah. It's important, folks. So what he's telling you is that this is part of adding to that culture, this daily huddle. The people on your team want to feel like they're part of something ultimately. And
Absolutely.
it's no different than running any business. I mean, when you bring like a family like atmosphere to the real estate business, at least on the team level, your agents not only stay more loyal to you, but they end up respecting you better. You end up running more of a business, and everyone makes more money in the long run. Now, you mentioned you took your team out. You did a social gathering. Are you doing these once a month, or what is your What are you doing like for the social side of things? You mentioned, I thought you just mentioned something else.
So like once a quarter, we'll go like bowling or something, up to a budget. As you know, I have a young kid. It's hard for me to get out at nighttime. Next, like I think the week after Halloween, we're all going bowling, and they got a budget for beer and pizza.
Yep.
Right. And the social thing, I try and make every day fun. The social thing is something I definitely need to work on. And as soon as I have time to write it down on my schedule, then I'll start to implement.
Yeah. And listen to Suneet's vulnerability right here. He just basically came out. Most people, Suneet, wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, I do that a lot." Most people honestly would have just BS that answer. But this is how you continue to grow, folks. He basically said, "You know what? I need to get better in the social, and I'm working on it." Anyone else I would have had on this podcast would have gave me some empty lie right there. Guaranteed.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
no,
They would have said, "Oh yeah, we're
mean,
doing things once a month and once a month." But if you're not always learning, you're never what?
dude, I'm a student of everything, and I will not stop with my gratitude for everything I've learned and the networking and opportunities I've had. So
absolutely,
like meeting you, right? The first time I met Mike, I was like, "Here's Mike Cuevas. He's the dude, man. I need to ask him about a video I got.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong, right?"
Yeah, and you have to do that in this business. This business is changing faster, and this is a true stat, is that the way real estate is bought and sold has changed more in the last 10 years than it has in the previous 100. And that's an absolute fact with these online leads. And the role of an agent is slowly redeveloping and being, I think, reshaped entirely.
Absolutely.
Now, here's a good question a lot of people have. How do you determine who you're going to bring on your team, right? Because let's be honest, there's time vampires out there, right? There's people that are, no matter how much you help them, real estate is just not their thing, right? So I want to talk a little bit about personality types and how you go about hiring the right people for your team. And it's not a right or wrong answer, but how do you find the right people for you?
So I recruit the organic. I mean, there's some organic people, which is great, and people have, being, my presence online, a lot of people locally have seen that, and they're attracted to me for those reasons, right? The same reasons people call me to be their coach. I recruit. I'm trying to pick up some ideas from our boy Sam on how to be more of a savage on that, because he's the winner. But I recruit, I run ads, and honestly, for me, I don't run disc profiles on a bunch of agents anymore.
You don't run disc profiles?
I don't. Okay. Maybe after I hire them, just to know their communication style, right? But are they coachable? That's the number one trait. Are they coachable? And if I spend a lot of time coaching a person and they don't want to implement or listen to me, then maybe it's not a good fit. Right?
Do you have a 30-day trial period type thing, or maybe
I have a 3 months. Get 2 deals done in 3 months. I'm going to give you a ton of leads and training. If you can't, but you're a part of culture, hey, we can work on that, right? Culture is paramount.
Yep.
Participating, being present, those are things that are really paramount. And if you can't do deals, then why are you even an agent, right? There's so many agents out here. Oh, I'm an agent. When's the last time you did a deal? Oh, a year ago. Are you really an agent, bro?
Yeah.
Right? And we both know, tons of circumstances like this.
So you give them a 90-day, when you bring someone on board, a 90-day look, here's how it's going to roll. I'm going to give you, here's what's going to happen. We're going to have training. We have daily huddles. We got this, and that. But you're going to have 3 months. I'm going to start you out on month 1 with X amount of leads and see how you do. And then we're going to, what you're also doing is are you coaching them, the new agents, in that first 90 days? Are you coaching them on how to use your autoresponders, like call action or whatever you're using, and getting your systems in place?
Every autoresponder that exists.
I know you do. But you're teaching them on how to use these things the right way. And you said something else very important. If the agent is not coachable, you're really not that interested. And if you're creating a team, it's your team, right?
Yeah.
So they're following your systems. They're coming to you because of your previous success, which they're hoping will they'll do business through your leadership. So
Yeah, and now, I mean, so for me, when a new agent comes on, I have trained, senior agents on my team to help out with a lot of that training. They have more time than me. A lot of times, I'm always there, especially for in the huddle to talk about things.
yep.
Something that I'm working on along with all my other boys out there in both Club Whelp and Lab Coats is a bulletproof onboarding process.
Oh,
Right?
I'd love to talk with you on that off the record. Um,
I mean, dude, that's where it's all at, right? And
mhm.
that's something else that I'm lagging on too. We want it all videoed. We want it just, hey, you're a new agent. Here you go. Watch these. Here's a checkbox. Here's a freaking test. So that's what's next on my horizon.
I'm gonna totally drop a I don't care plug because that's exactly what a tractor is. It trains your buyers agents, listing agents, and all of that for you. And we do have a
Can I just
back-end
talk about
process.
how awesome friggin' a tractor is, dude? I'm like,
This is not a sales call for a tractor. I had to go ahead and plug it there. If you guys like a tractor, you want to know more about it, go to my website. But I couldn't help myself with
dude,
that
it's
one.
one of the best things out there, dude. And you're so smart for doing that, even if I say it like a smartass.
Thank you. What about, and here's one of the things that annoys me sort of when I see a lot of teams or people, you'll see a successful agent, right? They'll come out and then natural progression. I got to start a brokerage or a team. It's just how the way our egos work. Like I lost my ass when I started my brokerage. Why? Because I'm not a brokerage owner. I'm also not a large team leader. I've come to figure that out. Before I left Chicago, I only had a few people on the team, and that's what I liked. I wasn't. I didn't. I went through the pains of growing pains of learning that the hard way through a lot of lost money. But the point is that if you don't plan on coaching your team, please don't even start one. What do you think on that?
Dude, nailed it, right? Like you have to be there. And if you're not going to be the one coaching it, then have the money of somebody to coach the team for you, right? Or create systems and leverage to where like for me, I have team leaders within the team,
Yep.
right? And they are empowered, and that's opportunity. Uh, so you just, yeah, I mean, being in leadership, being in management, being an owner, it's not for everybody. There's a
That's
lot
right.
of financial risk. There's a lot of having your girl mad at you, or missing out on your kid's t-ball game. I don't know if your kids play baseball yet. Mine don't, but just an example.
You already could foresee the problems in like 5 years from now.
um, yeah, but so I mean, yeah, don't do it. Like talking to another one of our friends, he's all, dude, if I were to do it again, I wouldn't start a team. I would just hammer out expires and physical calls all day because he knows that that's what he's good at,
Yeah.
right? You may have a better quality of life. I mean, ultimately, my reason for starting the team, a little bit of an ego. I like being a business owner more than a salesman, and I just like a challenge. And I want to dominate, and there's no stopping. I don't have any quit in me.
That's very, very, very good advice. If you don't have systems in place, if you don't have leads to hand out, if you don't have value to give, and you're just a busy agent, it doesn't mean you need to have a team necessarily. And you see this trend happen time and time again. It's happened to me. I mean, at one point I had 27 agents on my team, 23 headaches, and it wasn't a good time. It wasn't a good time for anybody. I wasn't leading properly, and there's a right time and a place, and it's got to fight to find the right person. This is a great show. I'm going to end with this. If you are on the fence and you're like, should I get a team? Should I not? It's a very good book by Dave Ramsey. It's called Entre Leadership, and it's one of the best books I've ever read about management style and about
Cool.
how to lead people in the business world. If you're like a CEO or team leader or brokerage owner, it's a really, really good book, and I highly recommend that you guys check that out. Suneet, this has been a great show. I think you've given our guests a lot of interesting points, a lot of interesting content to consider should they be thinking about starting a team. If you want to go ahead and if you guys have referrals for someone in Sacramento, Suneet's your guy. Suneet, please go ahead and he's also a Club Wealth coach. So I want to go ahead and thank you for your time. Please plug your website, let people know how they can reach you, and
Sure.
we'll go from there.
I mean, my personal cell phone, 916-216-7375. Our website is Best SAC Homes Group. SAC, SAC, not SACK for all your smartasses out there. And then you can do Suneet at bestsackhomesgroup.com, Suneet. And hit me up. Questions about teams or coaching or any other content. I'll be happy to help you.
And you're also a Club Wealth coach, so if you're thinking about this, Suneet does coach agents as well. I appreciate your
And
time, man.
lab coat agent moderator. Big shout out to lab coat agent. So
This guy's the man. He's in Northern Cal, Sacramento. Look him up. Again, thank you for your time. And folks, we are at the end of another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. And listen, check out the Attract and Retain formula. We don't sell our content. We give it away for free because we're not gurus. We're practitioners. Whether or not you can adapt our business model in your business, that's up to you to decide, but I'm just going to show you how it's done. So check us out. We do open up once a month, and take my courses. I mean, who gives away $2,000 of free training each and every month consistently and doesn't ask for a penny? I do. So go ahead and check us out at realestatemarketingdude.com and just follow the instructions from the beginning. But thank you, sir, for your time.
Mike, thank you, bro.
Awesome, man. I will talk to you soon.